Hello, welcome once again to Stuff and Things, where I like to talk about stuffs and occasionally even things. I'm your good friend Bradley, and today is a pleasant Sunday Stuff and Things. And on this pleasant Sunday Stuff and Things, we will of course be continuing with a fantastic reading from a fantastic masterpiece of sci-fi slash fantasy, The Eye of Argon. A little update on our good friend Peter, how he's been doing. I have some actual mail that I thought I would read for you. I'm going to be talking a little bit about some upcoming videos on Stuff and Things and Stuff and Things Plays. We will talk a little bit about my Bloodborne series going on Stuff and Things Plays. I have a YouTube channel recommendation for you, and then we will get to your questions right here on hashtag askstuffandthings. And I only have a few this week. So I would ask you please to write in your questions. Tweet at SATBradley with the hashtag AskStuffandThings, and I will answer you next week. But as I mentioned, let's get started with the very first item on our to-do list, and that is this amazing reading from this sci-fi fantasy masterpiece, The Eye of Argon. All right, when last we left Grigner, he was fighting with a soldier in a bar in, where was he? He had gone to Gorzam. He was on his way to Gorzam. He got to a bar. He found a comely wench, and then a soldier decided to attack him. And actually, Grigner had just killed the soldier with whom he was fighting. In the confusion, the soldier's fellows confronted Grigner with unsheathed cutlasses directed toward the latter's scowling makeup. The slut should have picked his quarry more... He's calling the soldier slut. The slut should have picked his quarry more carefully, roared the victor in a mocking baritone growl as he wiped his dripping blade on the prostrate form and returned it to its scabbard. The fool should have shown more prudence. However, you shall rue your actions while rotting in the pits, stated one of the sprawled soldier's comrades. Grigner's hand began to remove his blade from its leather housing, but retarded the motion in face of the blades waving before his face. Dismiss your hand from the hilt, barbarian, or you shall find a foot of steel sheathed in your gizzard. Grigner weighed his position, observing his plight, whereupon he took the soldier's advice as the only logical choice. To attempt to hack his way from his present predicament could only warrant certain death. He was of no timid mind to bring upon his own demise if an alternate path presented itself. The will to necessitate his life forced him to yield to the superior force in hopes of a moment of carelessness later upon the part of his captors in which he could effect a more plausible means of escape. You may steady your arms. I will go without a struggle. Your decision is a wise one, yet perhaps you would have been better off had you forced death. The soldier's mouth wrinkled to a sadistic grin of knowing mirth as he prodded his prisoner on with his sword point. After an indiscriminate period of marching through slinking alleyways and dim moonlighted streets, the procession confronted a massive seraglio? The palace area was surrounded by an iron grating with a lush garden upon all sides. The group was admitted through the gilded gateway, and Grigner was led along, all one word, a stone pathway bordered by a plush vegetation, lustfully enhanced by the moon's shimmering rays. Upon reaching the palace, the group was granted entrance, and after several minutes of explanation led through several winding corridors to a richly draped chamber. Confronting the group was a short, stocky man seated upon a golden throne. Tapestries of richly draped regal blue silk covered all walls of the chamber, while the steps leading to the throne were plated with sparkling white ivory. The man upon the throne had a naked wench seated at each of his arms, and a trusted advisor seated in back of him. At each corner of the chamber, a guard stood at attention with upraised pikes supported in their hands, golden chainmail adorning their torsos, and barred helmets emitting scarlet plumes enshrouded their heads. The man rose from his throne to the dais surrounding it, His plush turquoise robe dangled loosely from his chunky frame. Chunky spelled incorrectly. The soldiers surrounding Grigner fell to their knees with heads bowed to the stone masonry of the floor in fearful dignity to their sovereign, liege. "Explain the purpose of this intrusion upon my chateau." Chateau. "Your Serenity, resplendent in noble grandeur, we have brought this yokel before you," the soldier gestured towards Grigner, "for the redress of your all-knowing wisdom in judgment regarding his fate." "Down on your knees, lout, and pay proper homage to your sovereign," commanded the pudgy noble of Grigner. "By the surly beard of Mrifric, Grigner kneels to no man," scowled the massive barbarian. "You dare to deal this blasphemous act to me? You are indeed brave, stranger, yet your valor smacks of foolishness." "I find you to be the only fool, sitting upon your pompous throne, enhancing the rolling flabs of your belly in the midst of your elaborate luxury land." Oh no, luxury-and? All one word. The soldier standing at Grigner's side smote him heavily in the face with the flat of his sword, cutting short the harsh words and knocking his battered helmet to the masonry with an echoing clang. The paunchy noble's sagging round face flushed, suddenly pale, then pastily lit up to a lustrous cherry-red radiance. His lips trembled with malicious rage while emitting a muffled, sibilant gibberish. His sagging flabs rolled like a tub of upset jelly, then compressed as he sucked in his gut in an attempt to conceal his softness. The prince regained his statue, then spoke to the soldiers surrounding Grigner, his face conforming to an ugly expression of sadistic humor. "Take this uncouth heathen to the vault of misery, and be sure that his agonies are long and drawn out before death can release him." "As you wish, sire. Your command shall be heeded immediately," answered the soldier on the right of Grigner as he stared into the barbarian's seemingly unaffected face. The advisor seated in the back of the noble slowly rose and advanced to the side of his master, motioning the wenches seated at his side to remove themselves. He lowered his head and whispered to the noble. "Eminence, the punishment you have decreed will cause much misery to this scum, yet it will last only a short time. Then release him to a land beyond the sufferings of the human body. Why not mellow him in one of the subterranean vaults for a few days, then send him to the life labor in one of your buried mines? To one such as he, a life spent in the confinement of the Stygian pits will be an infinitely more appropriate and lasting torture." All right, we have to stop there. This chapter is going on forever. That one was not quite as filled with malaprisms and all that nonsense as the others. It was still ridiculous, but not quite as laugh-out-loud funny as we've come to expect. So hopefully it will improve in the next installment of The Eye of Argon. Next, just a few updates on some viewers of the Stuff and Things channels. I mentioned Peter, our good friend, Peter Straub, last week, and luckily we have heard from Peter. He left a comment on last week's Sunday Stuff and Things and saying he's doing much better now, and so that is very, very good to hear. So Peter, I still hope that you'll have even a more speedy recovery than you are already having now, and that we can talk soon. So I'm really glad to hear that you're doing better. And then I also got a little missive. I know I'm getting, Grigner is rubbing off on me. This is from Canada, from Mike, I believe. And since I so rarely get actual letters, I just thought it would be fun to open this up and read it out. I finally checked my P.O. box after a very long time, so I'm not sure how long ago you sent this. And I apologize for the lateness of me getting to this. Oh no, it was Will, not Mike. What did it say? Was it Will? Oh yeah, W. Okay. So from Will, from Toronto. Oh yeah, this is April 23rd. Sorry, Will. Dear Sir, I stumbled upon your good pipe tobacco reviews. I stumbled upon your pipe tobacco reviews a couple months back, and I am now hooked. What a great channel you have created. Sorry, I can't. Your writing is fine. I'm just having a little trouble. Virginian and English blends, Dunhill, are my go-to. Have just cracked Elizabethan for the first time. Wow. Best wishes, Will. Thank you very much, Will. The fact that you took the time to buy a little card and write with ink on a card and put it in an envelope and find a stamp and put that stamp on the envelope and send it to me means a lot. I really appreciate that, and I'm really glad you found the channel, and I'm glad you're enjoying it. Thank you. Excellent. Next, upcoming videos on the channels. I just recorded a first impressions video. We haven't had a new blend to review in a while. We've been doing some of the revisited series, and then I did that how to smoke a pipe video a while back. But I got sent something. It's kind of odd. A while back, SPC, the Seattle Pipe Club, someone from them had contacted me. It was actually because of the appearance I had had on the Pipes Magazine podcast. One thing led to another, and SPC contacted me and said, hey, we'd like to send you a couple of our blends, and you guys have seen those on the channel. But ever since then, Sutliff just randomly sends me things. And like I said, I checked my P.O. box yesterday, or no, today as I'm recording this, yesterday as you're watching this, and there was a blend by the Seattle Pipe Club called Galloping Gertie. Yo, right there. Which is a very fun name for someone who is from the Pacific Northwest, because that is the name that the original Tacoma Narrows Bridge had that collapsed in like 1940. So that's kind of fun. But it was a blend I had hardly even heard of. I think I'd heard the name, had never tried it. And I thought, what a great opportunity to do a first impressions video. We can review this coming up soon. But I did the video, I tried it out, and I can still taste it. And I don't know if that's a good thing. So you can draw your own conclusions about that. It was very sweet. I've still got some in my Dunhill 1962 Shellbriar. I may light it up again at some point, but I really was not digging it too much. So not to give away the first impressions video completely, you should still check it out and see what it was about the blend that I wasn't quite getting into. But that'll be posting this Wednesday. Another video that I was trying to work on this weekend for the channel was related to music and guitars and guitar playing. I had a pedal board that I didn't end up using very much because it was kind of minimal. A pedal board, for those of you who don't play guitar, is your guitar effects pedals. You can place them together on a board instead of just having them strewn on the ground in like a daisy chain. And recently I've been acquiring a couple more pedals, and I thought it would be fun to do a new pedal board build where I get everything together. I get the board, I use this weird 3M dual lock system, like pedal board tape, the power supply, get it all together and like just show you how I build my pedal board, the new pedal board, which I would like to build soon, but I don't have all the components for it yet. I was hoping to have them all by today so I could record the video today, but I'm still waiting on the power supply and also one pedal that I'd gotten from eBay. So probably not this coming Wednesday, but the Wednesday after will be that pedal board build video. So please look forward to it. Yeah. Have you guys been watching the Bloodborne series on STUFFandTHINGS Plays? I'm really enjoying this game a lot. I love From Software games. Obviously, I've featured quite a few of them on the channel before on STUFFandTHINGS Plays. And I'm really enjoying the fact that you guys seem to be enjoying the series as well. It's fun to have Kevin the Kurt, or Kevin Lasek as he is known in this game, back. And I think on Friday, the video posted where I faced the second boss, or the second boss that I found in Bloodborne, beat it first try, not to get rid of the drama or anything if you're about to watch that video, but I'm really enjoying the series, and I don't know, maybe we have a little streak going. Maybe these bosses aren't that tough. Maybe this game isn't as tough as some might suggest. I've recorded several episodes in advance, and you may be surprised to see how well Kevin the Kurt is dealing with his new hostile environment in the haunted city of Yharnam. Check it out every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on STUFFandTHINGS Plays. I just can't do it. I really am not enjoying this right now. Considering everything that's been going on lately, starting in probably about in March with Corona and all of that stuff, and then all the upheaval and craziness that's been going on societally and in the world at large, I have been watching and consuming much less of the media that I would normally consume. That was a very tortured sentence. I would normally watch a lot of different YouTube channels, YouTube videos, listen to a lot of podcasts and things like that. And recently, because of how, frankly, hateful a lot of people are being, and regardless of what side they may be on, and the fact that they think they need to be on a side is really irritating to me. But just in general, like the tenor of social or societal discourse, and just it's all been just very negative and very off-putting. And so I haven't listened to a lot of podcasts. I haven't watched a lot of YouTube channels. But there's one YouTube channel I wanted to recommend to you, and I found it kind of a beacon of hope in these trying times, where there are two people who are just really nice, and they don't get caught up in negativity. They're just pleasant. They're pleasant to watch. They're pleasant to listen to. They happen to know a great deal about the subject they discuss on their channel. And even if the subject matter of their videos isn't something that necessarily interests you, you may still enjoy watching them just to see the joy they have in what they're doing, and how generously they treat each other, how kind they are to their audience and their viewers. They're great. And that is That Pedal Show. They're Mick and Dan. Mick is English, Dan is Australian, but they both live near London now. I guess Dan is in Swindon, and Mick, I don't know where Mick is. But they're great guys, and they do like really super nerdy deep dives into guitar effects and pedals and amps and things like that. And maybe that subject wouldn't be the most interesting thing in the world to you, but I just find them so pleasant to listen to and to watch. I do sometimes in podcast form, I'll consume their content. And recently there was this thing where, I'm not going to get into the details, but I was loving the fact that they were being just very reasonable and thoughtful and about everything that's been going on. And somebody asked a question about a particular thing, and a response that one of them gave kind of disappointed me, because I was thinking, okay, here we go. We're going to get into snap judgments and just contention. And so I was kind of disappointed by that, and I'm like, oh, is this my last bastion? Is that closed now? I can't watch this anymore, or at least not for a while until things simmer down. And I came to their YouTube video of that. I had listened to it in podcast form, but I went to their YouTube video to look at the comments. And it was so wonderful to see that not only were a lot of their viewers writing really thoughtful, interesting comments, but then they were taking the time to respond to those comments, and there was an actual discussion and a dialogue happening, and people were being respectful to each other. Whatever side, again, like this whole idea that there has to be sides is driving me crazy, but whatever approach you're taking to whatever issue it may be, you should be able to listen to other people, even if those people don't agree with you or you don't agree with those people. You should be able to be respectful and be open-minded. And I don't know, it's something that I think has really been lacking lately in public discourse. And I saw it on display in the comment section of this video, and I wrote a comment as well. Mick from that channel responded to my comment, and it was just this great interplay, give and take, this great exchange. And it gave me a little bit of hope, because the tenor of just everything in society lately has been really getting me down, where it just seems like everyone is so hateful and so quick to just make a snap judgment, so quick to pick sides and then decide that, okay, I'm on this side, you're on that side, therefore I hate you, or therefore I will completely marginalize you and your opinion is worthless. Like, there's just so much of that going on. And when I briefly mentioned any of this stuff a couple weeks ago, that's all I meant, is that I just want people to be respectful to other people and not be so hateful. Whatever position you happen to be arguing, just be reasonable and don't be hateful. We should all just be trying to get along with each other and to understand each other. And I saw that attempt to understand in full display on the comment section of a That Pedal Show video. And it was great. It made me feel all warm inside. So if you're interested in guitar stuff, watch That Pedal Show. If you are not interested but just would like to see some nice people, and maybe it will like help reinforce your faith in humanity for a little while, watch That Pedal Show. I think it's great on YouTube. And finally, it is time for hashtag #AskStuffandThings. Remember, if you have a question for me and you would like it answered on the Sunday Stuff and Things, tweet at SAT Bradley with the hashtag #AskStuffandThings, and I will do my best to answer you. Also, if you are a Patreon supporter, you can ask me a question on Patreon as well. Thank you so much for being a Patreon supporter. If you are one, first, via Patreon, we have a question from Steve. Steve says, "Hey Bradley, I'm looking for a replacement for my beloved Presbyterian Mixture, PM, the Planta version. The new McFadin blend leaves me cold. I recently learned that the Planta version contained Java tobacco, though I don't know what varietal. Based on your review of Awakened Elder, do you think there may be similarities due to the Katsuri that would make this not a match, but a nice substitute for PM? Would you have any other suggestions for a PM replacement? Thanks, Steve." Steve, thank you so much for the question, and thank you so much for being a Patreon supporter. It's been a long time since I had Presbyterian Mixture, and I think I reviewed it long enough ago that it was the Planta version. Again, I'd have to check and see, and I'm sure you guys could correct me on that. And then Awakened Elder, I wouldn't say that it would be a replacement for Presbyterian Mixture. It's kind of the same thing when I was trying to find a replacement for Elizabethan. It just doesn't exist. You know, you're never going to find the exact match for a blend that you previously enjoyed. Whether or not it gets the same mood, maybe. I'm not exactly sure what it is about Presbyterian that you really connected to, but I would try Awakened Elder. And then if anyone else listening here has a good idea for, again, not a direct fit replacement for Presbyterian Mixture or the Planta version, but maybe something in the same vein, with the same spirit, with the same mood as the Planta version of Presbyterian Mixture, I would appreciate, and I'm sure Steve would appreciate it if you would put it in the comment section below. Thank you. Next, from Twitter, Uncle Cliff at CliffUncle. "On a few occasions, you smoked a cigar on Sunday Stuff and Things. Do you get the same enjoyment from smoking a cigar as you do from smoking a pipe?" No. It's been a while since I've had a cigar in general. In fact, I think I've got a few Padrones somewhere. I'll have to check that out. I enjoy it, but it's not the same kind of feeling as a pipe. The pipe, as we've said many times, is contemplative or contemplative, depending on where you're from. And it's sort of like a meditation. It's a very relaxing experience. The cigar, I don't know why exactly, but it doesn't quite have that same effect. It's still really nice. I love the Padron, what is it, the 2000 Natural or whatever. I really enjoy those. I think they taste great, but it's not quite the same. I don't know why the mood is that different. I think maybe it's because I equate pipes with relaxation, maybe, and my brain has just kind of made that mental connection, or maybe it has something to do with the mechanics of actually doing it. I'm not sure, but it doesn't give me quite the same thing, but I still do enjoy it a lot. Next, from Slow Jams at Stevie James 5. "Hey Bradley, ever try Erinmore Flake? I've been smoking more flakes lately and noticed you haven't done a review on it before, as far as I've noticed. Been a fan for a long time now. Keep up the great work." Erinmore, no. I don't think I've ever had Erinmore. I swear, there's something in the back of my mind making me think that maybe I've had like a pouch version of it or something. But after your question, I did put it on my wish list to try to procure a tin soon. That's difficult to do these days in the state of Washington, but I will see what I can do to get that on the review queue. So thank you for your question. Thank you everyone for writing in. Please send your questions in. Love answering them. It's great for the show and it's great for everyone else. It's always can highlight different questions that other people might have as well that they would like to get answered. So please send those questions in. And now it's time for the very best part of the show, and that is where I thank our Patreon supporters. The people who support the channels at $25 or more a month get a special shout out every month. If you would, or every week. If you would like to support the channels, there is a link in the description box to our Patreon below. But for now, we would like to thank Ryan McFadin, MDoftheNorth, Kirk Crompton, Private Eye, Cody Striegler, Ryan Stauffer, corbynborbyn, and Glenn. And now the Maniacs, the crazy people who support the channel at $100 a month. People like Peter Straub, get better soon, Peter, and Bob Magee. Thank you all so much. Thank you all so much for watching. Please watch the first impressions video of Galloping Gertie on Wednesday. I can still taste it. Continue watching the Bloodborne series on Stuff and Things Plays every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then stay tuned for more guitar stuff. There's a lot more coming up, a lot of good stuff, and it's nice to have you along for the ride. So until next time, until we meet again, I've been your good friend Bradley. You've been the audience. This has been Stuff and Things on a pleasant Sunday. Stuff and Things. I'll see you later.